Hey everybody, Brian here. Today marks the 1 month anniversary of me starting this YouTube channel. So I thought, what better way to get to know me than for me to talk to you about some of my favorite games and some of the reasons why I like them so much. That way you can get a better understanding of just what I look for in games and what I really enjoy. In this video, we're gonna talk about my top 5 favorite games of all time. So number 5, Harvest Moon 64. No, you heard me right, Harvest Moon 64. Now I know it's a farming simulator, but really for me it was so much more. Harvest Moon 64 was the first game I played where you as the player were responsible for unlocking the story. You see, in the game you'd make friends with different people in town and you'd learn their favorite recipes, you'd learn what their route was, and you'd use that information to become friends with people, which would then unlock different cutscenes, which would progress the story. Now, you didn't have to do any of that. There were so many cutscenes you didn't have to ever see because you didn't have to be friends with everyone. You could just bring them weeds every day and just forget their birthday and all that kind of stuff. The game let you play it however you wanted and spend the time with the characters that you liked the most. And then there is the farming simulator part of that, which I really enjoyed, you know, just maximizing your crops every year, making your garden look beautiful, raising your cattle, entering them into contests. And then there were all these different festivals throughout the year where you would compete with other townspeople. Sure, there's other games out there like Animal Crossing, Stardew Valley that do the same kind of recipe and maybe do it a lot better today. But this was the first time I experienced a game like this. So for me, it's part of my top 5. All right, number 4, Uncharted II. Man, that game is awesome. So that was the first game I played where you had voice actors actually acting out the role in motion capture in cutscenes. And that was really impressive. It really was a game changer with telling narrative stories in games. Now that's not the only way to tell stories in games, and I'd argue that it's a pretty limiting way, but Naughty Dog does it really, really well. And I still really like games that do that. If the cutscenes are done really well, then it's done really well, I can't deny it. Also, Uncharted 2 had a surprisingly fun multiplayer, and at its time, it was probably one of the better multiplayer games on the market. Sure, you always had Call of Duty and Battlefield, but this was an alternative, it was third person, and I spent many nights with my friends on headsets playing through it, so Uncharted 2, one of my favorite games of all time for sure. All right, number 3, Mass Effect 2. I love the whole Mass Effect franchise. I love that universe. I love Shepard, the Normandy, your crew. I even don't mind the ending that much. I mean, it wasn't my favorite, but I wasn't outraged. But my favorite out of all of them was specifically Mass Effect 2. I just love having a crew and then being able to do missions to strengthen your relationship with each crew member, to learn more about their story and to really invest in them. And then you really do see it pay off really well at the end of Mass Effect 2 if you do invest in each character. All right, number 2, Portal 1 and Portal 2. So my second favorite game is 2 games. I don't care, it's my list, I can do what I want. Portal 1 was just so, I had never seen anything like it before. You would go through all these little puzzles and rooms and you were being experimented on, and it just seemed like a fun little, silly game. And then at the end with the reveal of, oh, GLaDOS is trying to kill you and then you have to escape, and that moment is still one of my favorite moments in games of all time. And Portal 2 is just such a good game. They add to it, they have 2 different color portal guns, they add the slippery stuff, the bouncy stuff, and it's just full of charm and amazing voice acting. That is a damn near perfect game. Speaking of perfect games, if you were to ask me what my favorite game of all time is right now, I'd have to say Witcher 3. Now I know that might be controversial to some, but I am an absolute fanboy of The Witcher. I've read the books, I've even been to Poland. I just love CD Projekt Red, I love the games they make, and I love the Witcher universe. I love what Witchers are and what they represent and their stories. CD Projekt Red has set a new bar for how to populate an open world game. You can go any direction in that game, and within 30 seconds you run into a pack of wolves, a new town, more missions, people stuck on the side of the road, and the level of detail is just insane. Certain parts of the world are experiencing famine in Witcher 3, and while you're in that part of the game, There's no food in any of the barrels. There's no food in any of the houses. They make sure to take all of that stuff out. Whereas when you're in the city, it's, you know, busting with food and life and energy. It just feels lived in a way that no other game has been able to do at such a massive scale. The game developers went so far that if you have a city anywhere in that world, there needs to be a reason for it. It needs to be by a body of water. If your city is tucked away in some mountain, they put mine shafts around it because that city was founded so that people can mine and find gold and things like that. Everything is thought out in a way that is just, it just blows my mind. And I have spent so many hours going through that game and just exploring. I love it. So that's it. Those are my top 5 games of all time. Let me know, are any of those games on your list? If not, what are some of the ones that you really like? Thank you guys so much for watching, subscribing, liking, all that kind of stuff. I really, really appreciate it. And until next time, I'll see you guys later.